Clinton, Maroa Ag north of Maroa, the State Bank at Bement, in Bement, and Monticello. Hennings Equipment Company near Assumption, Jenner Precision at Fairbury, and the McLean County Farm Bureau.
You're finding Central Illinois. WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio in this segment, Sheriff Mike Walker of DeWitt County. Sheriff, I'm 3 for 3 on guests in studio today. Not on the Zoom, not on the phone, which I greatly appreciate.
You know, that's the way it should be. If you're going to talk on the radio, get in here and see you face to face.
Yeah, come on. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Camera going and so
it's a great day, and I appreciate you coming in. Something that we wanted to jump into that's been keeping you busy was you were out at the sheriff's conference. So tell me a little bit about what that event is in general, just to start.
Yeah, back 2 weeks ago, the weekend before Apple and Pork, the Sheriff's Association held their annual summer conference. And basically what that is, the Illinois Sheriff's Association puts on two conferences a year, one in September and one in February, that allows us, we're required to have at least 20 hours of training a year. So right. They bring in some good training, and we spend about 8-10 hours in training. Mm-hmm. In each conference, and then we have some other activities in the fall conference that are more relaxed, kind of networking type things and like that. So
awesome. So so that's obviously is that just the sheriff from every county, or are you taking deputies with you?
It's opened up to all the sheriff. It's just the sheriffs and their administration.
Okay.
Most people it's just the sheriffs.
Mm-hmm.
This year I believe we had 80 of the 102 sheriffs in the state there.
Okay,
so
nice.
Had a very good turnout there. Yeah. The current president, Nick Pettigo, who is the McDonough County Sheriff, mm-hmm. his goal is to get every sheriff in the state at the winter conference in February. So
awesome.
Hopefully we can do that. But we like I said, we have some training in the summer conference. We have a vendor hall so we can connect mm-hmm. with vendors and again, more networking with other sheriffs. And it's really nice to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We probably learn just as much talking to other sheriffs in the vendor halls and the hospitality rooms and the breakfast in the morning, things like that, as we do in the formal training. So
as you're going through the conference, you're building these connections, you're maybe meeting sheriffs for the first time. How much are you connecting with these sheriffs, and especially in like neighboring counties throughout the year? How much are you collaborating with them?
Oh yeah, the neighboring counties, we have a very good relationship with all 4 neighboring counties. Jim Root down at Macon, Mark Vogelzang in Piatt, Matt Lane in McLean, mm-hmm. and Mark Landers over in Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I probably talked to Mark Landers and Mark Vogelzang probably at least monthly.
Mm-hmm.
Jim and Matt, probably every couple months we talk. And what's good about that is, you build those connections, and you have any kind of issue, they're going to be sending people.
Yeah.
When we had an incident in the homicide in Kenny, Jim Root showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Landers gave me a call, offer people. Vogelzang called, offer people. So
great.
It does good to get to know those people on a personal level as well as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we need something, I know they'll be there. If they need something, they know we'll be there. So it's being the sheriff's office and the being part of that is different than city police and that, just simply because there's only 102 of us in the state.
Right.
So we got different responsibilities than the city does. The sheriff is responsible for the courthouse, responsible for the jail.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different things that people don't realize that the sheriff's office does. So going to those things, you can talk to different sheriffs, and it's not uncommon for somebody to say, hey, I got this issue, how do you guys handle it? The Sangamon County Sheriff reached out here a while back through the association, was having a contractual issue, was wanting language. So, I sent her, we had language in our contract with what she's having an issue with. So,
mm-hmm.
The Sheriff's Association is a great resource for us. If I have a question about something, or I want to know if other people are doing something that we're wanting to implement or whatever, I can contact the association. They can send out a group email to all 102 sheriffs, and then they'd have them reply directly to me.
Great.
So.
Awesome. Well, while we're on the topic of the Illinois Sheriff's Association, you've been recently elected onto the executive board. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And tell me a little bit about what your new role is there.
Well, what the executive board does is basically the board that governs the association. And the association has 3 zones: the northern, central, and southern zone. And we are part of the central zone.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the representatives for the central zone got elected to be the second vice president of the association. So when he got elected to that, that's Sheriff Harmon over in Champaign County, that opened up a position for the executive board from the central zone. So I put in for that, was unanimously elected by my peers of the central zone. So
nice.
I'm excited to start that in February. I'll be sworn in to that position.
And so what responsibilities will come with that?
Well, what it is we, just like any other board, we have meetings on a regular basis and discuss things that need taken care of, right away, rather than waiting to a conference where you have everybody, the actual business meeting of the conference. Just the board makes decisions on how we're going to run things, or decisions on what's going to happen at the next conference and things like that. Nice.
Awesome. Well, any other things you wanted to put out there about the sheriff's conference or about the executive board?
Well, one of the things that is very good about the association itself, this conference, we had some media training with Cole Pro Media out of Florida, and the association entered into a contract with them prior to our last conference in February. And how that benefits us locally is, if we have an incident that is going to make media get a lot of media attention, we can contact them and they can help us put out content like body camera. They can get us the body camera content with context in it and things like that. And normally that's a $9,000 cost to someone. Since we have a contract with the association, any sheriff in the state can utilize that at a discounted cost.
Awesome.
So, we had some good training. This was the second training we've had with them, and it's very good training for especially what we're going through now with everything being scrutinized and in the media. It gives us another avenue to reach out and get some professional experience or expertise on that. The lady who runs that was a TV person out in Los Angeles in California.
Okay.
And she basically got tired of how things were out there, moved to Florida, started this. She is a big supporter of law enforcement and has created it's called Co-Pro Media, and they have a lot of good information for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, while you're talking about media training, I know that we got to catch up with you at this weekend's Apple and Pork Festival, or I should say last weekend's. So tell me a little bit about, what you guys were doing at the Apple and Pork Festival. How'd everything go for you guys?
Well, we were sweating a lot. It was hot.
Yep,
but
that's for sure.
It was a great weekend. Again, I can't reiterate enough that it is a very calm festival.
A lot of people this year.
And the reason it's family friendly, and we don't have many law enforcement issues. As far as actual law enforcement issues, I don't think we had any this year.
Great.
Other than maybe some minor parking complaints, things like that. But we have that every year. The big thing was on Saturday we had several medical calls.
Yep.
I think the EMS director said they responded to 35 EMS calls right there on the grounds, or Apple and Pork related, and then didn't have as many on Sunday. Still had a few, and I think between all the ambulances they had, I think close to 100. I think it was calls over the weekend. So,
wow.
But no, we're very fortunate that we can have that amount of people, almost 100,000 people in 2 days in Clinton, Illinois, and not have any major issues.
Yeah. And like I've been hearing a lot of those medical issues, mostly heat related things, bee stings, so minor stuff.
Bee stings, falls, things like that. So, and some people are really stubborn, don't want to go to the doctor or the ambulance, but we try to convince them. We had one gentleman that had a medical issue. He didn't think he needed to go, and finally let the EMTs look at him, and he needed to go, and he agreed. So,
Oh.
but fortunately, like I said, nothing major.
All right, great. Well, Sheriff, any last things you want to put out on Apple and Pork before we take a quick break here?
No, just look forward to it next year.
Yep.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yep, you're totally right about that. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show with DeWitt County Sheriff Mike Walker.
WHOW.
WeNow.com.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Steady with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat at this hour. December corn down half a penny, 4.18 March corn down 3/4, 4.35. May corn 4.44 down 3/4. November beans unchanged, 10.18. January beans down 1/4, 10.36 3/4. March beans down 1/4, 10.52. December wheat 5.16 3/4, up 1.33 3/4. December bean meal down 50 cents, 278.10. December bean oil 50.29, up 24 cents. Livestock trade, October feeders up $1.27, 358.45. October live cattle down 57 cents, 230.45. October lean hogs 98.40, down 57 cents. Energy market, November crude oil 61.63, up 75 cents. This is the RFD Radio Network.
Don't touch that dial. You are tuned into Whipple's Country WYFF, the station that's been family owned and fiercely independent for almost 80 years. No nonsense, just common sense and chart-topping corn hybrids coming to farm gates all over the Central Corn Belt. Stay tuned for more Whipple's Country hits like She Thinks My Colonel's Sexy, I Got 99 Problems But Yield Ain't One, and Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Sell Soybeans. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep it independent with Whipple's Hybrids.
In 1904, 8,000 Illinois farm boys contributed to a corn exhibit at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis. Today, millions of boys and girls across America work on a variety of projects as members of the 4-H. Today and every day in 2025, we salute the 4-H.
Macon County Farm Bureau Indicator, where membership means value. Visit their website at maconcfb.org for more info.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. We continue with my guest in studio in this segment, DeWitt County Sheriff Mike Walker. Sheriff, something that we've been talking about even recently here on the morning show is Triad and this program that is out to help seniors be safe. So let's talk a little bit about what your role in this program is.
Well, I've been involved with it for quite a while, and the big thing is starting Wednesday, we will be having our senior academy for the next 3 Wednesdays. So the 8th, the 15th, and 22nd. Wednesday the 8th, we will be here at the Warner Library, and we'll be having, I know Cheryl DeWitt will be there talking about different things that help prevent falls and that type of stuff from Warner Hospital. And then myself and Heather, I believe her name is Calcara, will be doing a presentation on scams and frauds and things. We had that scheduled 2 Wednesdays in a row. So rather than I do one and then she do one, we're going to do that together.
Nice.
So this Wednesday we'll be doing that. Next Wednesday we'll be in Waynesville, and we'll be doing that presentation as well. I'm not sure what the other one is. And then the final week of the 22nd will be in Farmer City.
Nice.
So it's just it's a good program for seniors to come out and get some information, ask questions, and be able to help benefit our older population.
Yeah. So it seems like these different sessions are going to encompass a lot of different topics. Can you speak to, just educating the elderly in so many different ways that they can stay safe?
Well, a lot of it is just making them aware.
Yeah.
Because, the younger generation gets a lot of their information off of social media, the different kind of social media platforms. And, that's how they get their information. And the older generation, they don't use a lot of those platforms or apps or things like this. So by being able to have somebody in front of them and give them, pamphlets about different scams, different kind of fraud things that are going on, giving them something that's in their hand they can take back and look at and read, with resources on the internet, different web pages, things like that, I feel is very beneficial to them, because these social media platforms and all these things are changing so rapidly, it's hard to keep up with. So we're basically wanting to give them information that they can take home and help keep themselves safe, whether it's against frauds or falls or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So, like you said, a lot of people are not getting their information off of social media and things like that. How are you guys getting the word out about Triad and trying to pull people to come to these?
Well, we've been using, all the places that are involved, or you've been putting on their Facebook pages. It seems like, the older generation, they're still on Facebook a lot, and then just like this, talking to you guys, getting it out so you can put it on DeWitt Daily News and things like that. That's the best way that we can do it. Getting hold of it using some of our media outlets. Yeah.
Speak to the community partnerships for the Triad program, between, the Sheriff's Department and, hosting things at different places in Farmer City and at the library here in Clinton. Speak to that partnerships.
Well, I think last year was the first year that they spread it around like that. It used to be all 3 Wednesdays were, one year they did all 3 Wednesdays in Clinton, then another year they do all 3 Wednesdays in Farmer City. So a couple of years ago, they decided they were going to use three different venues. That way we could reach more seniors, because the people in Waynesville may not drive to Clinton. Yeah, people in Clinton may not drive to Farmer City. Farmer City may not drive to Waynesville. That type of thing. So my feelings is, by doing that, we're going to be able to reach more people, because we're going to hit people in Waynesville, in that area. They may come to Clinton. If they do, that's great too. We're going to hit the people in Clinton and the surrounding areas, maybe Kenny, Lane, DeWitt, that type of thing. And then in Farmer City, we're going to hit the Farmer City area. So we're going to, by doing that, I think we're able to hit a larger number of people.
Yeah. How has the Triad program changed throughout your years of being involved with it, Sheriff?
Well, I think one of the things is, years ago it started, and it's just grown. I think the number of people who are involved now has grown. When we have our meetings at the Friendship Center, we have 15, 20 people show up between, the city, the county, just volunteers, different resources throughout the county. Different agencies are there. So we got a lot of good input. A lot of them are seniors, and they, contribute that, hey, we'd like to see this. This is how we get information. So maybe we should expand that type of place.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on Triad you wanted to cover for us, Sheriff?
I don't think so. That pretty much covers it. Just the next 3 Wednesdays starting at 1:30 at the Warner Library, then in Waynesville at the Christian Church up there, and then I'm not sure where they're having it in Farmer City. It slips my mind.
Do you know where people could find out?
On the Triad page, there is a DeWitt County Triad page, so you can be able to find that on Facebook.
Awesome. So between things like the Triad program and Apple and Pork, community outreach is a really, really important, if not maybe one of the most important parts of community policing and being a sheriff and having the department. Can you tell me about just the idea of community outreach and how you guys approach that from your perspective?
Well, for example, one thing yesterday, the Wagon Wheel Pumpkin Patch had their Pumpkin Farm had their Family Fun Day. Yeah. Brenda Martin, the owner of that, reached out and invited me out there, and I took a squad car out there. The fire department was there with their smokehouse. EMS was there with an ambulance. Let kids see those things, have interactions with first responders on a kind of a fun basis rather than a serious incident. A lot of people don't see us unless they're having a bad day. So we like for people to see that. Was able to spend about 4 hours out there walking around, talking to people, talking to kids. So those are the things we like to do. I had the Baptist Church had an event there as well. I had one of my on-duty guys go by there and represent us there. So it's just things like that, getting our guys. If anybody has an event, they want a police car there out in the county or even here in town, give us a reach out and we'll make it happen. And any kind of somebody to come speak to their organization, we're willing to do it. If we don't know the topic, you give it to us time, we'll put something together and come and talk, because that's the best way to get to know us. That's the best way for us to get to know the public. And we're here to serve all of DeWitt County. And I know a lot of organizations are always looking for somebody to come in and talk about something. And if you organizations are listening, ask your membership what they'd like to hear, and I'll come out and talk about it. I talked to the extension office, the group, I think it was last year, talked to them about some things. So any type of thing like that, be more than happy to come out and talk to them.
Yeah. So, you and your deputies, you guys are going out and investing in the communities. How do you think that the communities are reinvesting in the sheriff's department and supporting you guys?
Well, we're very blessed because we live in a community, countywide, that is very supportive of law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, when we've had some things happen in the past, different legislations and things like that is, putting handcuffs on us, way we can do our job. I routinely have people call and tell me, hey, we support you. We're not for this. If there's anything we can ever do to help you, your deputies, let us know. We have people stop in throughout the year and drop off, cookies, candy, things like that, different times. So, we are very, very blessed to live in a community that, without getting into politics, doesn't put politics in the way of things.
Yeah.
They support us, they support our mission, and they know that we're putting good people out there, and they're going to do a good job. So that's what the standard that, not just myself as sheriff, but sheriffs before me have set that standard, that we will provide a good service, with integrity. We're going to do what we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Sheriff, as we wrap up, where's the best place for everyone to go to find out about anything that's going on with the sheriff's office?
Our Facebook page, we try to keep pretty active on there, and that's the best place. So, and if anybody has any questions or anything, they can always call in. If if I'm not available, my chief deputy, talk to a deputy. My deputies are good guys to talk to. They'll provide information that you're asking for.
Awesome. Great stuff. That is, of course, DeWitt County Sheriff Mike Walker on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520, WHOW Clinton, along with